Caitlin Clark is still getting under everyone's skin. That's what Rachel Demita told us in her new breakdown of Clark's hate. Viewers, players, and even WNBA coaches have been giving Caitlin Clark a lot of hard time for the last couple of years. She has responded with great performances every time, and she seems to be leading her team to the promised land in the playoffs. But now, fans and analysts are railing up to show support. One of the most vocal supporters seems to be Rachel Demita. In a viral video, she broke down all the hate Caitlin Clark has gotten over the past few days and told the league the truth they needed to hear. Let's break it all down. Before we move on to the main topic of our video, we first need to get familiar with our commentator. Some of you might be wondering, who exactly is Rachel Demita, and why should we trust her opinion so much? She's not just another sports personality. Rachel has lived and breathed the game for years. Growing up in Akron, Ohio, she spent 8 years playing competitive basketball, earning a McDonald's All-American nomination and a full-ride Division I scholarship to Old Dominion University. After her college basketball career, Rachel transitioned seamlessly into the world of sports media, where she quickly made a name for herself. Rachel first gained widespread attention as the host and co-producer of NBA 2K TV. Since then, she's become a prominent figure in sports media, hosting shows for platforms like ESPN, Bleacher Report, and Fox Sports Digital. Her deep understanding of the game, combined with her ability to connect with audiences, makes her an expert in discussing basketball and its evolving culture. These days, you'll find her hosting the Courtside Club podcast and creating content for major brands like Caesars Sportsbook. Whether she's breaking down the latest NBA drama or giving her take on WNBA rivalries, Rachel's insights carry weight. From the very start, Rachel has been vocal in her support for Caitlin Clark. She recognized the young star's potential early on and wasn't afraid to praise her achievements. But Rachel's analysis doesn't come with blind loyalty. She's also given credit where it's due to Caitlin's rivals, including Angel Reese. In fact, Rachel's ability to balance her support for Caitlin with fair criticism makes her a perfect candidate to weigh in on the ongoing debate surrounding Clark. Just what did she have to say about Caitlin Clark and Kevin Garnett? Well, it started where else than on X, formerly known as Twitter.
Kevin Garnett put out this tweet a couple days ago. He said, "What if Caitlin Clark's Olympic break was the off-season adjustment for the league that WNBA rookies don't get before their first season? She looked crazy out there yesterday. You can tell she was in the film room."
As you know by now, Caitlin Clark has a lot of rivals. She has had them on every level. Angel Reese, Brianna Stewart, Timmy Fagbinel. These are just a couple of players Caitlin has had to go against and play her heart out. Of course, one of her bigger rivals was, and still kinda is, Diana Taurasi. In the past, she has not held back when it comes to her opinion about Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, I mean, it's, our league's now, almost 30 years old, so it's nothing new under the sun, as you would probably know, more than anyone else in here. I plead the fifth.
Caitlin's first game back was against Phoenix and Taurasi. Caitlin had to show up to give fans a dose of what they really come to see, and you know what she delivered.
Caitlin Clark put up 29 points, 10 assists, and 5 rebounds in this game. She came back with a vengeance. They completely swept the Mercury in the 4 games that they have played them this season. She looked outstanding. The Fever looks outstanding. They are currently ranked 7th in the WNBA standings, but I feel like by the end of the season, they are going to be working their way up.
But the hunt for the playoffs won't be easy. The WNBA is a professional league and is filled with experienced ladies who just won't lie down and let Indiana come into the playoffs that easily. Indiana needs wins right now. Caitlin naturally continued her dominant display in the next game, but the game wasn't without its controversies, and that's what Rachel Demita talked about. There were more than a couple of controversies during that game, which we discussed in previous clips on our channel. If you want to know more about these situations, we recommend you subscribing to our channel and going through the list of previous videos and watching them in their entirety to grasp the situations fully. Let's go over the citations quickly. First, Caitlin Clark got a technical foul for not a huge reason.
So the first one here is when Caitlin Clark got a technical for slapping the padding that is on the hoop. And she did this not because of a play that happened with someone from the other team. She did this after she had missed a 3-pointer and was obviously frustrated with her shooting. She got a technical for this. A lot of people were calling this soft. They didn't understand. Obviously, Caitlin is a fiery player.
The critics on the account of Caitlin Clark, at least on X, weren't that kind. Not only did the X members think there wasn't anything wrong with the decision, they even suggested Caitlin should conduct herself more naturally, even though she's still a rookie and just got out of college.
The first comment here says, "I've never seen a male player get a tech for that." Someone else said she can't control herself. Her real personality shows on the court. I mean, I don't know. I feel like if this was a guy, we'd be like, oh my gosh, he's such a competitor. He has such a competitive nature.
But these comments weren't bothering Rachel that much. After all, she was once played at a high level. She's used to comments that are borderline sexist and unfair to the female players. Some fans haven't changed at all since she stopped playing. Rachel is also a celebrity, so she's seen toxic comments recently too. The thing that bothered her, however, is what happened at the end of the game. You know, that cheap shot Skylar Diggins-Smith took.
Because I thought that we were turning the corner when it came to like the jealousy and cheap shots in the WNBA, especially when it's not a basketball play. But as you can see here, Caitlin Clark is walking off the court, and Skylar Diggins, you can see her speed up and kind of dip her shoulder just so she can hit Caitlin Clark.
We also have video breaking down that entire incident, so be sure to watch it as soon as you're done with the video. Anyway, Rachel went on to say that she was extremely surprised by what had happened. She said that she was a huge fan of Skylar and didn't expect the superstar to act in such a way.
I just thought that this was super petty, unnecessary, but this is just another instance that just gives the media, gives social media ammo to talk poorly about the WNBA.
Rachel wasn't just disappointed in Skylar, however. She was disappointed in the entire WNBA. This isn't the first time someone cheap-shotted Caitlin. From the look of things and reactions, it might not be the last either, and that's what Rachel is disappointed in. These actions hurting the WNBA product. A lot of these situations go viral and stay in the news for days and weeks. They leave bad taste in people's mouths and make the entire league look unprofessional. This reflected in some tweets Rachel read.
Skylar Diggins speed walking to try her hardest to bump into Caitlin Clark is the definition of nobody hates women more than other women. And it's honestly so true. Like, I think this bothers me because us women have such a bad reputation of like not supporting other women, being petty, acting jealous, like not wanting other women to succeed, tearing them down when we can. And this was just not a basketball play. I appreciate the fact that Caitlin Clark didn't retaliate. She just kind of walked off the court.
Rachel was shocked just how easily Caitlin gets under the skin of more experienced WNBA players by doing nothing but playing well. Sure, she can get carried away in the heat of the moment, and in college she was a trash talker, but she never had a bad reputation. She was never considered someone who's rude or plays mind games with other players. That's why this hate has been so puzzling for us, real fans of the game. Caitlin Clark has been the breath of fresh air the entire female basketball world has been clamoring for. She's attracted the attention of millions of fans of all genders and nationalities. And this is the thanks she gets. It seems too strange to be true. What's worse, the players and coaches aren't just hating on Caitlin, they're hating on the entire Indiana team. And Rachel thinks it's because of a good reason. That reason, according to her, is fear of the fever.
It feels like a lot of these players and teams just hate the Indiana Fever, and I mean, I get it. This team was one of the worst teams in the league, and they are now climbing the ranks. I would not want to match up with this Indiana Fever team come playoffs, because as we've seen, as time and time has gone on, like we saw in the beginning of the season when Caitlin Clark was having like double-digit turnovers in games, and it was because the whole team, in essence, wasn't gelling.
In the beginning, when the Fever wasn't very good, most of the talk was just about Caitlin. Now that the team has gelled, Caitlin is still giving solid performances, and the rest of the ladies are playing better than ever together. Things are looking up. All this is the testament to Caitlin's play. Some thought of her game as one-dimensional. But that simply isn't the case. She isn't just a scorer or a good three-point shooter. Caitlin is one of the most complete rookies we've ever seen.
And I think it's about time for us as the media, us as fans, to like truly start giving Caitlin Clark credit. She has proven that she's not just a three-point shooter. She isn't turning the ball over all the time like she was in the first half of the season. You know, if she can't get her shot off, she will make sure that other players are getting their shots off.
Just like we discussed recently, the Rookie of the Year debate has been feeling artificial since the second part of the season started. With all due respect to Angel Reese, what Caitlin is doing is unprecedented, and everyone who's entertaining the discussion is lying to themselves. Rachel Demita, for that reason, went so far to declare the roadie conversation finished. The next stop is MVP talks.
The Rookie of the Year conversation, it shouldn't be a debate at this point. Angel Reese is also playing well, but it is clearly Caitlin Clark, and she's actually in the top 3 odds for winning MVP of the WNBA this season. The only other player to ever have done that is Candace Park.
Don't think Rachel Demita has just now jumped on the Caitlin Clark Express. She's been on the bandwagon for quite some time. Long before the recent controversies, Rachel was already tuned in to the challenges Caitlin was facing in the WNBA. You're in women's basketball. However, Rachel has also been clear-eyed about the struggles Clark has encountered, from the physicality of the game to the jealousy that seems to follow her. For example, in a video from July, Rachel didn't hold back, expressing her frustration with how some veteran players have been treating Caitlyn. She pointed out that the narrative of players being jealous of Clark isn't just media hype, it's real, and it's happening on the court. Rachel highlighted the dirty plays that Caitlyn has had to endure, noting how these incidents are not only damaging to Clark but also to the league's reputation as a whole. Rachel's critique didn't stop there. She also touched on the broader implications of these actions, comparing Caitlyn Clark's impact to that of Simone Biles and Tiger Woods, athletes who redefined their sports. Rachel warned that if the league doesn't address these issues, it risks losing one of its brightest stars and alienating fans. Her willingness to confront these uncomfortable truths, combined with her deep understanding of the game, makes Rachel Demita a crucial voice in the ongoing conversation about Caitlyn Clark's role in the WNBA. Over the past couple of days, Rachel Demita wasn't the only one who thought Caitlyn should be left alone and allowed to play her game in peace. Stephen A. Smith talked about it on his YouTube channel.
In average game attendance and per game TV viewership. But despite the attendance and viewership records, there seems to be some haterade in the league in regards to Clark starting with WNBA legend.
If you want to know more about what Stephen A. Smith said about Caitlyn, be on a lookout for one of our next few videos. At the end of the day, what did Rachel teach us? People Rachel Demita and Stephen A. might sound harsh out of context, but realistically, WNBA fans should be thankful for commentators like them. They do criticize the league, definitely. No one likes being criticized, sure, but they criticize the league because they care about WNBA and want to see it grow. These commentators don't pander to crowds. Instead, they offer constructive criticism that will help the league improve for the better, get a better reputation, and attract new fans. As we know, with more fans, more money will come and female players will finally be able to get the money they've deserved all along. A lot of that is thanks to none other than Caitlyn Clark. This is just another good side effect of the Caitlyn Clark effect. If you want more WNBA content like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We post nearly every day, and if you want to stay in the loop, hit the notification bell so you know when a new video drops.